Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bunny Pen.
Hello.
I'm Steph.
I'm Cori. Oh, and this is the Bunny Pen where we celebrate women.
I was like, well, I said Bunny Pen, so should we just start over?
No, I think it's cute to keep it natural.
Okay.
Our fuck ups are something maybe you'll enjoy.
Yeah. Alright. So today we're going to talk about self-care.
Self-care.
Some of you may have seen, we posted it on our story. We asked you guys to kind of tell us what you do for self-care for yourself. We asked about self-pleasure for self-care. So we're going to get into what we like to do in all of those things.
Touch the clam bugger.
I know. I loved that little image. When I saw that, I was like, oh, we definitely have to use
We
this.
have to use it.
There we go. Now we
The
can see each other
pearl.
better. Hopefully, you can still hear me. All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Ditto.
So Cori, what do you like to do for self-care these days?
I really like to do art. Shout out to the badass bitches who work out all the fucking time. All you guys make me feel lazy as fuck. It was like workout. I was like, cool. So maybe I'm a psycho because I don't work out.
I mean,
I'm gonna work out.
I
Try.
do, and I do,
Hate it.
I guess, consider it self-care because feel good, look good, feel good, play good.
I couldn't agree more. I understand the logic. I get the science behind it. But I read an article one time about ADHD, and it was like gym is like the bane of our existence.
Oh.
So it's like, oh, workout in fun ways, and it's like, oh, volleyball and stuff like that. How the how?
Yeah. Back to our I'm not athletically gifted.
Well, not like that, but on it, people usually work out like Monday through Friday or whatever their schedule is, right? How the fuck am I supposed to orchestrate a volleyball game like just to burn my steam off on a Tuesday morning when I get done work? That shit ain't happening.
Well, yes.
I'm like, you want me to go play badminton? I'm like, where?
It is time consuming, right? So that's why I've really I do spin classes and have for like 5 years now. And what I really like about those that I learned, but I was skeptical because I had gotten a little chunky. I was like, you really need to this was when I was 30, you need to start working out again. You have to figure it out. So I was like, I'm gonna try a couple different things. I'll just try out these different gyms and do some stuff. And so I ended up at the studio. I was like, I'm gonna try a spin class. I did the Yelp research like I always do. Ravenclaw, crawl. My friend and I always do that with research. And so I ended up on this studio. So then anyways, I was like, okay, I'll keep trying it. So for me, it's a good use of 45 minutes because it is time out of my day. But I get to listen to music while I'm in there, which does a different thought process. It's cardio and some sculpting firming. And I can just process a lot of thoughts in that workout I never have in other workouts or gyms.
Yeah.
Because they're telling you what to do and then you have the music and it's dark in there and sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not even listening to them and I'm doing most of the motions, but then I realize I'm not. I was like, oh, I missed that because I'm thinking and
meditating almost.
yeah.
It's like it serves a bunch of purposes.
Yes.
Which that's nice.
Yeah. So
Maybe I should try spin class again. Last time I did it worked my ass. Bro.
it's hard. I mean, I'm not saying oh, it's hard. I do it.
Oh, it's hard.
It's a different.
I'll toot your horn for you. It's fucking hard.
I have free buddy passes, so if you do ever want to go, just let me know because you won't have to pay anything.
I like yoga. I'm actually going to do that more frequently because that I like because it stretches me out. But all that other stuff, I'm like, damn, guys.
Yeah, this stuff you have to stretch after.
Yeah, I'm like, whew.
Makes you a little tense.
Yeah.
So yeah, workout is one of my self-care things.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of still don't categorize it in my brain that way, so this made me realize oh, that actually,
Yeah, it's huge self-care.
yeah,
It's endorphin rush, all types of things.
yeah. Whereas it's funny because to me it was always been a chore. No one in my family really does anything like that. My brother was in the Air Force, so and he did some running before that, but so it was just a chore, a task.
Mhm.
It's something I have to do to keep eating the foods I want to eat and look the way I would like to. And then now, yeah, it's I've realized that it does help me in a lot of other ways, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I do have to just be oh, that is self-care.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So thanks to you guys for making me realize that, even though I knew it, but I didn't.
Yeah, see, growing. I go to therapy, which I love. which is probably currently my favorite form of self-care, because it just keeps me, you know, when I struggle with things that I maybe am not that good at with like communication and stuff like that, it's nice to have that weekly reset where I'm like, girl, my mind is going a little goofy, I'm ruminating on this, or like I can't get over this, I want to let this go but I don't know how, or whichever. I think that, you know, having that weekly thing is super nice. I also love to clean for self-cleaning or self-care. Self-cleaning.
I self-clean for self-care.
I self-clean for self-care and I clean.
That's good.
That's hysterical. Yes, I self-clean and I clean my house. I like to do all of it, including my toes and stuff like that. So just like spa times and spending time with friends.
Oh, like pedicures, yeah.
Yes.
I
used
still
to do
talking about
spa
cleaning.
days.
I'm like, I'm glad you cleaned your toes.
Yeah. No, I go off on tangents. I like, I meant self-cleaning, and that includes encompassing my toes and doing pedicures.
What's a spa day for you mean? Because I feel like sometimes people have different, like what they choose to do at the spa is different.
Well, I do my own at-home spas, and I spent a good long time broke as fuck, so we used to figure it out.
Yeah.
I really love doing the cucumbers, slicing them and putting them in the freezer, and then I'll soak my toes while doing my face, and then I put a mask on, and I do my toes, and then I used to do the dip on my nails, so it would be an entire
Yeah.
ensemble of it, and that always made me super happy.
So
afterwards.
like nails, toes, face.
Toes,
I
face.
should do a face mask tonight. I have a few and it's been a minute.
And I love those little vibrating sticks, those T-bar things.
I have a roller in my fridge.
Oh
And
yeah.
I bought it so I love the channel Bravo. I have lots of friends who also do, and so my one friend in North Carolina and I were going to Florida last year, and one of the ladies on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills had been using hers on the show, but in a weird way, not in like a way. They were out on a boat, like the whole group of them being filmed, and she was like rolling it on her face while her and this other girl that had been having some tension were having a serious conversation. She was like, it just helps me with anxiety.
If I don't roll my face, I'm gonna beat your ass.
And so I bought them to take to Florida, and like I gave my friend Paula one, which was funny because she also brought a bunch of self-care stuff. Like,
yeah.
She was like, I brought all my extra like face masks I have and stuff like that if we want to do them.
Yeah,
but
girl strips mean.
Then I was like, I think we should try keeping them in the fridge because we were also in Florida and it was hot. And so then now, yeah, I keep mine in my fridge and it does feel really nice.
It's so beautiful.
Just and they say it can supposedly help with absorption of things. So that's, yeah, face mask at home on the couch.
Yes, and I like nature walks and taking my shoes off outside.
Yeah.
Dancing.
I have friends that like to just go for walks in general. That's what my mom always did too. I would go with her sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is another form of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably like, I would imagine people are like processing their thoughts.
Mhm.
Like the same way I was talking I like to do at the gym.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, my belly.
I was like, was that my throat?
It's just, I also like to meditate with candles and listen to miracle tones the whole time. And I've been doing that a lot more recently with my mala beads, and that's been super nice.
We got a few people that said Bravo is a form of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of nice for me, a like nice distraction.
Yeah. Also like video games for dudes.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a meme recently going around some of the accounts that was like, my husband doesn't understand and sometimes I just have to explain to him it's like sports. And like,
it's right.
Yeah, it's sports for you is the Housewives for me.
Reality shows
and other shows
yeah.
like on there and
reality.
Yeah, like think of the different franchises as different teams.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, it's kind of, it's nice to like sit still and be still and then also to like have a funny distraction from your life. I mean, I guess it is slightly at other people's expenses, but they sign up for it and they get paid for it. Like,
yeah, true story.
So,
I mean, what else are we supposed to do? Are you gonna make all that production and us not watch it?
Yeah, exactly.
I kinda have to. I love watching, I've been a big fan the past like year and a half of all those. So the cooking shows have always been really cool to me, but I don't necessarily cook. I mean, I cook when I'm in a relationship and I love somebody, but when I'm by myself, I'm like super bad at it.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
For one, it's making too much food, it's buying too much food, it's too much time.
Yeah.
You have to do all the cooking and dishes.
I know, it's just 100% you. I'm like, well, this is exhausting.
And then if it sucks, then you're like, now I get to eat this for 4 days.
Right, I have no choice. It's so true.
Okay, but so cooking shows.
Oh, yeah, so I have a hard time, like, I enjoy the concept of them, but I always had a hard time because I'm like, cooking it doesn't really hit home. But they've been making a ton of, like, art-related ones.
Oh, like
glass blowing, pottery, there's a floral arrangement one, and I'm like, oh my
I have
god,
watched a floral arrangement competition. I think it was on Netflix or something.
The big flower fight.
Probably was
Oh
it.
my
Do they have more than one season now?
They have 2 different flower ones that were on there. One is the big flower flight, and I don't remember what the other one was. One was making actual floral arrangements, like tabletop ones, that were stunning.
The one I
And
watched
the other
was
one
like
was
different themes.
Yes!
And sometimes it was, they had like
Did
the
you
tent
see the
and
one
stuff.
with the chimpanzee?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I watched it, because they probably made,
Y'all should watch it.
yeah, because those are those things too that probably they had a season and then the pandemic happened and then like it was like, well, that budget's gone to something else.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 of them, and that's the British network. Shout out to the BBC, which
Oh, I love.
it's my favorite.
I love the Great British Baking Show. It's one of my
Yes.
favorites to quilt to.
See?
And I'm caught up, so I'm like, oh, so I've been watching F-Boy Island while I've been quilting instead this time. It's not the same. But you need something that, like, I like something that's keeping me interested, but I don't have to pay full attention to because I'm, like,
Right.
ironing, cutting, so, like, on the sewing
You're not
machine.
looking at it.
Yeah, so I can't always see the TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, love Great British Baking Show.
It's so good.
If you're listening.
That's a big dream. And if so, really, all I want is for you to feed me.
I don't know, they have a little different take. Have you watched that one?
No.
Their food styles are very different than ours.
I just thought Tea and Biscuits because I'm an asshole.
No, I mean, then they do like cakes and cookies, and then they also,
Cakes and cookies and crumpets.
yeah, then they also do like designy ones, like the final, like each week is a theme, like breads, cookies, whatever. And then like each week they have 3 challenges, and the final challenge they usually want like a big design involved too, like not just taste but also visual.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what I would describe as tacky as hell. So that seems to be their
It's
style.
not where I was expecting that to go.
So I also find that part of it an extra layer of entertaining.
Yeah. How ridiculous it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glass blowing thing's cool too. I don't know how people do that stuff because I'm too clumsy. I would burn my fucking arm
Yeah,
off.
that stuff is impressive.
Mhm.
Glass blowing, for sure.
And I don't drink nearly enough water. I would pass out in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Well, I mean, I think we're used, I know it's heat, it's different, but like,
Oh, girl, no. Did you see how much they sweat? I would literally lean into the fire, do one turn, bring it out, and just fall backwards with the big fucking poker. There's
well, make
no
sure
way.
you drink a lot of water before spin class.
That's the other thing. I'm like, Steph, this was ground. I passed out last time. I went and seen Method Man and Redman, and I passed out at that. And the lady came over and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, girl, I don't even. I can't talk about why it is that I passed out. Let's just. No, fuck it. Let's just say I was doing a detox, dude, and I had been peeing all day long.
Oh.
And they surely didn't drink water to replenish that. And I was sitting there, and they played. I'm pretty sure it was In and Around the Old Dirty Bastard song, and I got so excited over it. And then I was like, shortly after it was over, I was like, I don't really feel.
And I'm going down.
Yeah, and it was a date. It was great.
Oh,
I nailed it.
that's a good story. Speaking of nailing things on a first time, when I was in high school, or I mean in college, and we were like just starting, and I started dating this guy, and then I went to Cleveland with him to meet his family, and you have to remember, like, I had just left Big Stone Gap, and like, I'm in Cincinnati, I'm like, hanging out with people who grew up very differently than me, like, and so I'm in Cleveland with him, meeting his family, like his stepmom and brothers for the first time. We're at lunch. I choke on chicken. and had to be taken in an ambulance and had
Oh my
and
God.
had an emergency EGD. Talk about a first
How
impression.
how am I just learning about this?
Talk about a first impression.
Whoa.
So yeah, that goes down in that in history.
Did they have to give you the Heimlich? I have so many questions.
They were
I know this
giving
is
me the
self-care,
Heimlich
but
and
we
it-
need to take an intern.
When they were giving me the Heimlich, nothing was happening. Like, ambulance came, gave me muscle relaxants, went to the ER, nothing was happening.
You're
Like,
one of those people like swallowing a penny,
so
but
then,
with chicken.
yeah, so then I laughed and it went into my throat. Like, I did like a breathe laugh, because I was being awkward too, because I was around strangers, and I was like, and then like it just like shot into my throat far enough, it wouldn't budge one way or the other.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Yeah. So yeah, ambulance and all, sirens because the oxygen was right. Yeah, under anesthesia, I like to say it, like, in front of these adult strangers I'd never spent any time with that I was already worried about making a good impression.
I am Steph, I'm so nervous, and now I'm joking.
And the first memory I have in, like, during the recovery, but we were still at the hospital, right, because it still is, like, I remember my first memory, and I looked at my boyfriend, like, later when it was just the two of us, and I said, I don't want to know what I said under anesthesia in front of your parents. And he was like, got it.
Noted. Word.
Yeah.
That's a G. Most people wouldn't even respect that boundary and be like, wow, you said it.
Like, are you sure you don't want to know? Because it was funny. So anyways, self-care, I got Botox last week.
Oh yeah, love the Botox.
I do, if anyone's on the fence about trying it, I recommend it.
I am in love.
Like, I 100% had wrinkles disappear that I had.
Yeah, because if you, especially like, it's funny because I've only done it, actually the last time I did it was, this time might be my fourth time doing it, I think. It's only been a couple because Lord knows I forget and it wears off, and then it's not until I'm like sitting in my car and I happen to like look up because I get something in my eye and my 11s are super pronounced and I'm like, bitch, you need to get back in and get your Botox. But I will say that the first time I ever went, they were like, oh, you don't really have forehead wrinkles, and I'm like, that's very cool. I know how you guys play this game. You're gonna wait until I have divots, and then you're gonna have to put filler in and also Botox. So if you do it, I know this game to get more money. So if you do it earlier, you could technically prolong you ever even getting them. But
Yeah.
I remember, like, I get a slight little thing when my Botox wears off. But the second they give me the Botox, it relaxes my face and it's gone. And I know I look younger because I've had people notice it directly after, and they're like, oh, you look really refreshed. And I'm like, you motherfuckers think you don't like it, but you do.
But you always compliment
You
it on
always
me.
compliment it every fucking time.
Yeah, I had like 3 lines or so, like, they weren't deep yet, but that were there, like, resting in my forehead, and so they're completely gone. And then I, like, was kind of doing weird stuff last time, so I went a long time, and the thing I didn't like was it was pulling, like, over here more. And then, yeah, now I have these lines a little here, but I just got it re-upped last week, so I'm hoping those will fade.
Luckily for me, I like my eyebrows. I don't know where my natural eyebrows should have been. Sometimes I'm like, it doesn't really, because I've had friends where it's affected theirs. Like, I had one girl where it was noticeable, like,
Yeah.
they were, and she's like, I don't like the way they injected it. And I'm like, well, then you gotta go back. Like, they didn't numb. Your one muscle is completely relaxed, so your eyebrows dropped a little, and the other one was not fully relaxed, so it was still at a tension.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And I like when they
just
do
have to
it,
relax
like,
it.
a little here to kind of pull it up.
Yeah, some people like when you have
But some
play with your
people
eyebrows.
don't like that.
No.
And then, yeah, you can get the drop for sure. I
Yeah.
have a friend who, like, has gotten the drop multiple times. I was like, yeah, you definitely should go somewhere else then. I forget who was telling me that. But yeah, go somewhere else. If they're not doing a good job, it doesn't mean, it just means that person needs more practice.
Yeah, and that's, it's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
it's your face, now you gotta go back in, and that's, like, annoying.
Yeah, it's funny we're recording this because I realized I've had a fairly self-care heavy last 2 weeks because I did Botox last week, and then yesterday I got off work, got my Brazilian,
Boom, boom!
then slept a little bit, then got my hair cut, and then today I had a nail appointment.
Nice. Nice. Fresh to death.
So I guess I do lots of things.
Yeah. Listen, I was already telling you I want to go to the mall after and get panties, so that's self-care in my book.
Well, and sometimes self-care for me is eating. So then I'm like, what restaurants are in the mall? Would she want to go?
Yes. The answer is yes. I don't know what this is, and I don't know if anybody else is like this. Please let me know if you are, because I'm probably just a freak. But since I was a little kid, I have had this fucking obsession with completely throwing out every pair of panties and completely replenishing it all at once.
Oh.
Some people do little by little, but I've gotten, and mine's on a pretty, like, other than when I was broke, mine was on a pretty frequent, like, I was like, okay, every month I'm like, these all gotta go. Yeah.
Okay.
And the only ones I would hold on to, and we all know about these, are time of the month panties.
Oh, yeah.
Because those, I'm like, I'm not replacing
and
those
like
every month.
sleeping ones.
Yeah. If I get favorites, they'll make it past the month. But I went through a good run there where I was just like, oh, I'm re-upping my panty selection. And then I started, money
That's
got tighter and I stopped. Dude, it was so weird. My mom was like, what is your, like, addiction with this?
I mean, I like it. I just don't think I'm willing to work that in my budget.
No, because it is expensive. But I used to get creeped out because, like, I'm like, detergent and stuff like that, and I don't know how long things last and stuff, and I'm like, and this is always just sitting home with clams.
And
I'm like, you get the best, honey.
And then also, like, I don't know if we've talked about this or what your work panties preference is.
Honestly, sometimes the scrubs are rough, so I like full panties or else I
do
get shaved
too.
ass.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I wear full, and I can't wear a size small in them either, or they will shave my thighs every time. I have to have them loose.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wear full coverage. I mean, not like full coverage, but modern full coverage.
I got long johns under here.
But there are still certain ones. Anastasia. There are still certain ones that, like, you'll wear a pair to work, and within an hour you're like, oh, these are not work kosher. They're not gonna work. They're not gonna work for work. Work.
Definitely not. I didn't even know that was a thing, and I remember my first week being on the job in the hospital, and it's funny because it all comes down to we're hard workers. There's a lot of hustle and bustle in this. It's a lot of shaking and moving.
A lot of twisting.
Yeah.
Like all the actions.
Yes. I wore a thong, and I remember being like, dude, my butt is sore. Because scrubs, I mean, they just like rub, and it's just like.
And they're hospital laundered what we're wearing. So and then when they get when you get a new set of those scrubs, they are the stiffest things.
It's paper.
I still blame my scarring in this one tattoo on the scrubs
Dude, it's bad.
in our hospital when we were there. Yeah, because they were so crispy.
Mm-hmm. Crispy.
Crispy.
Like that word. Yeah, no. Usually crispy things are nice, but that is not.
Yeah.
Shaved ass, and if you ever forget to wear a bra, fuck, your nipples are gone. I have.
Yes.
I have had to stop like 30 minutes into my shift. Like, I need.
Band-Aid stat.
Dude, for real, I've like, the funniest is the last time it happened to me, I worked at a children's center, and I wanted so badly to send this picture to people because they were like, obviously for little kids, and they had a bunch of them that had cartoons on them, so I did like the cross pattern to cover them, and I had all different cartoons on my nips, and I was like, I look ridiculous. But anything to save the nipple, dude, it was terrible.
Yeah, my friend Kim introduced me to this game, so shout out to Kimberly.
Shout out Kim.
Where she was like, imagine if you just got a Polaroid and said, like, this is you on this date. So you would, like, know the year, and it was from the future.
Mm-hmm.
And you had no background, like, no text around it. So it was just a snap, like a Polaroid of you with cartoon Band-Aids on your nipples.
That's
but
it.
You had no idea you were at work.
No precursor,
or anything.
nothing. I just like, well, she's a fucking weirdo. It should be interesting to grow to that person.
Yeah, that's what she'll be doing at 33.
Right.
Stripping for the children.
Oh my
you
god,
got a lot to look forward to.
Oh, dream big, dude. Dream big.
So That's funny. I always think of that in like
That is
random things, and I'm
hysterical.
like, oh my god, I would be crying.
Yeah, because I'd be like, I have no idea. Now I'm nervous.
Might as well give up now.
Yeah. I'm on drugs in the future. That's what happens. I become a drug addict. Great. Oh boy.
I did do that
Scrubs
though.
are not self-care.
No, gosh, no.
Mm-mm.
Replacing everything at once. I did do that with my like socks last year, and it did feel.
Well,
Yeah.
I've just always been weird with, and the most random shit. Like, it's not that I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, I decided to do it. I was just like, they're all thin enough. Like, I just need to throw them all away and order some.
Definitely.
Other self care. Oh, I was sometimes doing. I haven't put it in the budget since I got a new car. Some spa days every once in a while. Like, so that's why I asked you what yours was. There's this spa that's like been around for a while, like an original kind of Denver hippie spa, and like where it's like more natural stuff, but they're not like all whatever in your face with anything, and it's, you know, got like the nice natural light. They have plants everywhere. It's like an older building, and in like every room they have water features, and they have really good like nature sounds playing. And so like they'll do discounts on like if you combine 3 packages. So I was doing like,
Where is this?
it's called Eden Spa.
Here?
Shout out.
Eden Spa.
Not an
I'm
ad.
coming.
Hashtag not an ad.
Yeah, we don't get paid for nothing. We just want to be nice.
And they'll do, like, they have massages, they have body scrubs, they have girls that do facials, but they have this thing they call the raindrop wrap, and they drop essential oils all over your skin, like they do your arms and they rub them in, like, but they'll drop them a bunch, and then they'll, like, go back and rub them, then they'll, like, do your legs, then once they do your arms and legs like that, and, like, shoulders, they put a heated blanket on you, and then they wrap you in an aluminum, like, heated blanket. And then while you're like baking in these oils, getting all tingly, then they're like rubbing your scalp, and then they'll rub your feet. So they'll like do that, then a massage, and then a facial.
Talk to me nice.
It's really worth it.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much that run you, girl?
I think that's like $280 and then plus tip.
Worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's an hour each service too. I know. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go. I've been thinking about it.
Yes. Yes, please.
Is that your purring?
Yeah. Yes, it is. My, yeah. I got another.
Catnip purring.
Right, that's me like really getting into it. I'm like half eating something, like my mouth's open. I'm trying to get my nose rubbed by a finger. If you've been around cats, most people will know that face that the cat makes when they're like.
I've been around them, but not a ton.
Ugh. What's funny is when I was younger, I really loved cats, and then as I've gotten older, I really like dogs. I like both.
I think both are different.
They're very different. Not only that, but I have read research and stuff like that they say that cats' purpose is because their purrs in a hertz that like when you sleep, that's why they sleep so much, which makes sense because cats are asleep constantly, but they purr in a hertz that like heals your body while you're sleeping.
Oh.
It's like a hertz that like stimulates your body to heal with the moon and shit like that.
That's wild.
Which is funny because it's funny that they
now I want to read up
like
on that.
yeah, and it's funny that society has flipped that to where they steal your souls in your sleep, but that's not the case. They like to lay on your
I
chest
never heard
because
that
it's
either.
really. Oh my god, I've heard that so much. People who, when I was younger, and my parents always have been cat people. People are like, they steal your soul. That's why they like to get up close to your face. And I'm like,
you grew up too close to Salem. You're not even close to it, but I'm just saying.
Salem, whatever, witchcraft is happening in those hills. It's something.
I've never heard that.
Peace up, 8 Town Down. You
I've
psychos.
never heard that.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Both of those are a thing. It's interesting, but I think that it was
to do my
fun.
old lady couch research later tonight.
But now I'm like, that's why cats like to sleep on your chest, because they know that their purpose is to purr and just sit there and like, and who knows if it rattles, like lungs are good for you to get those kinds of things.
Well, I
To
mean,
break up.
yeah.
You've done those things where you do the deep breathing and do that?
No, but I mean, I know like the percussion stuff.
Yes.
Which is probably, like, coping probably kind of does the same thing, but also bringing it out. But, what was I going to say? Oh, well, that's what they say, like, about, meditation and chants and, like, stuff like that is the vibrational frequencies.
Mhm.
And that's even the argument in theory for crystals too, is it's the light reflecting off of the crystal, like what light, color, light wave it's reflecting, is the different ones are different vibrational
Mhm.
qualities to you, and that's why like they're supposed to be on your skin,
Mhm.
is because it's just a vibrational thing.
Yep. It's actually super cool. I love all of that. And I mean, it makes sense. Pigeons were once male carrier pigeons. Things have purposes. Guinea hens kill ticks. Cats like to purr for you.
Ground birds.
Ground birds. See, back to the ground birds. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. The chickens and birds always come back.
Yep. Especially fried. Speaking of crispy.
Yeah. I'm hungry as shit.
I know, we're both hungry. Oh crap. I even had a protein bar before I came. I was like, I don't want to eat too much because I'll probably do something after, or pick up food. Anyways.
I slept too late because, back to the self-care, I have found a miracle tone on YouTube, which I shared with Steph, and maybe if I remember, I'll put the link in. It's one that I feel like works really good. Sometimes I have trouble falling asleep, and this one puts me into a full-blown coma.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, it's definitely insanity, and I was wired. I had like just drank a Red Bull, and I was like, I need to lay down for like an hour, 2 hours, set my alarm, and then I started it because I was like, you gotta chill out my bones, dude. I'm like ready to run around. Yeah. And I literally was playing. I love to play Yahtzee on my phone because I'm a 90-year-old woman.
I played this card game called Succession.
See, we love it. Self-care, Yahtzee. So I'm like starting to play Yahtzee, and it was like 30 seconds, and I'm like, wow, this thing was. And I slept through my alarm. I woke up. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was supposed to be here.
Sleeping is self-care for me as well.
Mm-hmm. I got that as a comment.
I need
my
more,
friend
I
said
feel like,
naps.
than other people. Yeah, some people hate naps. Like, no one in my family likes naps, and I'm all about it. Another good self-care thing that accidentally happened this last weekend, like time with friends, but my friend got stuck in town because her flight got canceled. And
Which is
like,
fun.
hey, now you get to sit on the couch with me
Right.
all day.
What a blessing.
And we both like napped at the same time. We were watching Indian Matchmaking and The Practical Jokers, and I made her watch a couple Bravo shows with me.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a nice day.
Yes, I love those girl days where we just like nest up on the couch and fucking chill.
Speaking of, did you see the one thing I sent you on Instagram? Probably not, because I think it was right before we were coming here. Did I remember to send it to you? Or I was like, I'm just going to show it to her in person, probably. But this was one of our days we spent watching TV together. Someone posted this today.
Oh my god.
Because remember, I was like, he is
Jax is
nuts.
such a character. Dude, he's so
Because I didn't really watch the show then, and that was like my intro, and I was like,
how? And he
Jax.
he didn't even go under one time.
no, it's
Sorry.
Vanderpump Rules if anyone watches it, when Jax
If that's not a
thinks-
scripted, Jax is an idiot. Let's make him drown in this episode.
when
I
Jax
don't know what it
thinks
is.
he's drowning in Lake Tahoe.
He didn't go under. He's like, help! Help! Come get me help! And I'm like, dude, you have not like gone under the water one time. Like you're
makes
breathing.
me laugh so much.
It is hysterical.
I think
It must have
we-
been an anxiety attack.
And I think we were eating, which I get stressed in the water, so I understand. But
Yes.
it was like also then even in his confessional, as I still call them from real world, he's like still talking about like I almost died out there.
No, you
Whereas
didn't.
like in the moment I'm panicked, but then later I'm like, yeah, that was funny, and I hope you all laugh at me.
Right, exactly. Dude, I laugh mid-thing. Like, every time I hurt myself, I could be balls deep and falling down the stairs, twisting back like this, and I'm gonna already be roaring at myself.
Same. Even if it's not out loud, it's already happening in my brain.
Yes! I do it even, I'll laugh at myself when I'm by myself. Like, the other day I fell down the stairs, and it was hysterical. I was coming down the parking garage, and I was completely alone, fell down, and I was like, oh, you dumbass, and I still laughed. Like, I was like, this is a good time.
I usually, like, when I'm dropping things, like, I'm trying to do too much at once, and I'm like, tails all the time with you, boyer, come on, like, get it together.
You dumbass.
We also were eating pizza, which can also be self-care. I love me some
Drop
pizza.
jobs.
It's like, takes you back to, like, I feel like it's a nostalgia thing, too, like, not only do I like pizza and watching TV, but it, like, takes you back to, like, when you were a kid and sleepovers and stuff like that, like, good time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
My favorite sleepover was the first time I ever seen the movie Selena. It was the best. Her mom was the best.
I've watched it.
Oh,
I don't
God.
think I watched it at a sleepover though. We were all like rom-coms or like scary movies. I love a good scary movie with your friends. And it's like,
It is fun. I like scary movies.
Self-care too, I really like watching football, and I like dedicate my Sundays to watching football. Usually go to the bar, and I talk to people there, like in the bartender, but I go by myself most of the time. I like having all the TVs. I like having the beer, draft beer, snacks. I like the atmosphere. People are like, no matter who they're watching, you don't have to be watching the same game, but everyone's just like
Excited about football.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's really something I practice, that like I set the time aside for myself to do because I like it.
Yeah. Give you a little reset. Something you enjoy.
Yeah, it's something each week to kind of like look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. I love to paint and create things.
That's
Huge self-care.
Yeah. Some people think I'm creative because I make baby quilts, but to me, it's not that kind of outlet. I don't know.
I hear you. Well, especially because you make them for people, so it's like a time crunch. Sometimes that can make it more stressful. Like when I create art, it's not for any reason other than.
Yeah, I mean, I try to just do it like watching TV and stuff, but I just don't. I'm not wired to be creative. Like, cause even I played piano growing up, and it was never. I could never make it an outlet.
Right.
I never attached to it that way.
Right.
It was just like something I did, not
Yeah. Reasonable.
like, oh, I feel better after doing that or whatever.
I feel that.
It wasn't me time.
I feel it. Just like football's not me time.
We all have to.
We all have our ticks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm trying to think of what else I heard about self-care.
I got, well, yours aren't in here. But
Practicing boundaries was one I got for self-care, and I love that.
that is a good one.
Huge. Huge. Hate you, fucker. Huge. That reminds me of.
It's like, we don't hate boundaries.
No, that was Donald Trump.
No, yeah, I think that is a good way to look at it, and I think it's been boundaries have been frowned upon in the past because they've been like, oh, you're selfish or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, something society's acknowledging more that they do exist, they need to exist, and they should exist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because we can't be out here saying yes to fucking everything.
Right. Also said lashes. You used to get your lashes done, right?
Yeah, and then I went through a tangent of doing them myself, and it was very funny because I started doing them from underneath, and I realized that that's how the majority of people do them. Don't judge me. I am a goob.
I know nothing about this topic.
Yeah, so the strip ones you put like on top of the other ones you can put on the bottom, and it looks better because then your natural lash line hides the the clusters. So I was putting them in, and I never tape my eyeball up for my own reasons because I'm like, oh, it leaves a wrinkle on my face, so this is me getting karma for, being shallow, I guess. So I would pull my hand down every time and of course burn my eyeball, but then I went to go put it in, and because the fumes from the glue was burning my eye, I went like this, girl, and the cluster didn't stick, and it went into my eyeball, and then I had to sit there because I couldn't open my eye because it hurt so bad. So now I'm sitting here with the cluster in there, and I'm like, wow, I just took 10 years off of my right vision of my eyeball.
Because one eyelash in there is miserable without glue on it, and to have a cluster with glue,
it was. I sat there for. It felt like an eternity. I sat there with my face closed, dude. Because I instantly was like, it's in there. There's nothing I can do, and I just sat there. I didn't try to move it. I didn't open my eye. I didn't move my eyes around. I just sat there.
You didn't. If you didn't move your eyes, that's
not at all
impressive.
Dude, I just sat there and let them water their face off.
Because I panic.
Dude,
that is something I will panic over.
I was like, there's no way, and it burned so bad that if I try to fiddle fuck around in there, I'm gonna poke my fucking eyeball out. So I just sat there for a minute, and then when I finally did something, I grabbed my actual lashes, and whatever lashes I had, and I yerped them off my face, and then I went like this, and I pulled it out, and I was like, I got up. It was funny. I had half my, because I do like congruent each one. Because I like to match them to know how many go in each one, probably my OCD. But so I had to have lashes to the fucking middle, and I was like, I don't even care. I don't care if this is what I rock for the next 2 weeks. I've looked crazier, and I'm just going with it, dude. It was such a big deal. I haven't done my lashes since then.
I was looking at the list of things people said. Oh yeah, going out to dinner. We already talked about that. I didn't even realize that someone else had said it.
Anything that releases endorphins and serotonin.
Yeah, I like this one. Doing whatever the hell I want when I want to.
Hear, hear, motherfucker.
And then it says, even if it means doing it alone. That was my friend Tegan.
Yeah.
Tegan.
Yes, go ahead, Tegan. I feel you on that. I love going to shows by myself. That's a huge self-care thing I love to do.
I'll go to the movies by myself.
Good punk, hardcore.
I like
show.
to like sometimes sit at a bar or restaurant by myself, like back to the football, but you know, I still like I am an introvert, so I think that's kind of why I like doing those things alone, because it kind of checks off multiple things. Like I'm still doing alone time, but I do like to get out of the house, and like I like the vibe of bars and restaurants. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I don't like going out to eat by myself that much, and not for any insecure reasons. I think it comes back to the ADHD. I get bored. Like if I'm sitting there, I'm like,
I haven't been
gotta
doing
wait
it
for the
as
course.
much
I'm
lately,
like,
except for like those football Sundays.
But then you're watching football, so that's like preoccupying that.
Yeah.
That's like the music.
But
I'm listening to music, so I don't really notice that I'm sitting here.
Yeah, but like when I traveled, when I lived in Chicago, when I moved to Chicago, I hadn't even done traveling yet. I did it all the time. It was, and I really liked it. I think it's just one of those habit things I forgot about, like during lockdown and stuff like that. Like how those things kind of just go away, your habits, and then you're like,
a little warm hug.
Yeah, that's a cute way. Washing my hair and setting my curls right.
Ooh.
I really liked that one.
Ooh.
Because I think
that's cute.
It is cute. I think it's very cute, and I think because I also like hate washing my hair because it's time consuming. So I do get that if you like it, like the inverse of that.
Yes.
So
and that gave me such a cute little visual.
Yeah. I think it was Amber.
Oh, I love him.
I think. Sorry if it wasn't. I think it was.
So cute.
Didn't put names beside of these.
We did do a curl treatment on my hair together one time.
Did it turn out good?
Yeah, it was super cute. It actually, when we went to San Francisco, it was super fun. I love that. Girl strips. Girl strips are good self-care.
Yes, they are. Laughs.
Yeah.
Gossip. Talking about yourself, life, like, you know, like.
Definitely.
Wine. Dinners.
Yes, all of it together.
Yeah.
Me and Amber have had some really great ones. We went to San Fran, that was super fun. When I went and visited her in Texas, we did like massage days. We always do a lot of self-care stuff when we get together.
Yeah,
we did that,
nice.
What was that? We did like a Tough Mudder together, but it was like a girl's version of it. It was for women empowerment. I forget what the name of it was. Something. Yeah, it was really funny. She's like, well, I had plans on doing this, and I was like, well, that's the weekend I could come out. I'll just join you. And she was like, yeah, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And it ended up being a ball. We ran around.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was super funny.
I mean, playing in the mud's fun.
It was a great time.
Like back to that kid, you know, thing. It just makes you happy instinctually. Like you can't even help it.
Yeah.
You can't explain why or whatever.
That's the second one I've done in my lifetime. I don't work out, but when I do, I run Tough Mudders.
That's why I was like 0 to 100. Okay. Next up, Iron Man. Did I train? Nope.
Dude, I didn't train for my Tough Mudder at all. It was literally, I am a stubborn motherfucker. So my dad turns around and he's like, I joined up for the Tough Mudder, and I'm like, that's all cool, you're psychos. Like, dismissive as fuck. So he turns around to my mom and he's like, the other wives are doing it. Like, why aren't you doing it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? And she turns it, instantly deflects it around on me and was like, well, you did the Tough Mudder. And so I read exactly what she was doing, and I was like, bet. As a matter of fact, I will do the Tough Mudder. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm like, I'm online right now getting my wristband, so what do you want to do? And it was it was hysterical. I did nothing. Like, I smoked cigarettes at the time. I drank no water in preparation. Girl, it was hysterical, but I made it through it. Not only did I make it through it, but I nailed those obstacles.
Because I get determined when I'm in the moment with something. Like, and that's a stubborn quality. Like, I have stubborn, like, I am stubborn, and that's how it resonates in me. Like, when I'm in the middle of doing something, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking do it, and I'm gonna do it good. Like, not always successful, but
yes,
I really try.
And I was with my ex at the time, and we had like that weird relationship. We just were. It was ego against ego. Like we just neither one of us grew to the point of realizing we need to self-realize whatever. So it was just that was the relationship I was in at the time, and it was funny because he had said something to me, and I was like, pussy. Like so in my toxic masculinity, I'm like, yeah, okay. so we'd get to obstacles, and it was funny because we had this one that was like monkey bars, and it was really hard because you had the monkey bar
I'm
up,
very impressed,
and it was in an angle and then go back down, and I was more or less, I'm not going in that muddy ass water because it was like, I'm like, there's amoebas in that shit, like so I'm like, I'm not doing that. I get up on it, and at that point my hands had swollen because I didn't have enough water. It was hysterical. Talk about headstrong. So I get up on the thing, and I'm like, ting, 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 ting. And I went to go fall, and I was on like 2 other ones, and I lumped, and I got over to the other side. And it was hysterical because he got up, and I don't remember how far he got, but he hit the water, and I was like, yes! I was like, I'm balloon hand out, no training. All of you think I'm like, don't do anything and I'm soft, but I am headstrong. I've been through it. I don't care if I die at the end.
I'm not doing worse than anyone here, I'll tell you that.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
And then, let's see, just want to make sure we got all the lists.
That was a tangent.
Oh, bad. We've done lots of tangents. I think that's just our new norm. Or our norm always.
Yeah, it's fun.
Have a good combo with a close friend, like we've talked about that with other things. Smoking a joint and having no care in the world.
Oh, take me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what the theme of all of it is, right? Like,
chill.
It's a moment for you to have no care in the world. It's very well put. And just focus on yourself. And then we also asked this like separately, but someone also addressed it when I use my vibrator, even if it's after having sex. Sometimes alone, sometimes with my partner.
Thank God. I just must be a ridiculous person, but I feel like I just like being open about these things because people just
think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like there's a lot of jaded people. Maybe if you just like,
Yeah.
Dudes don't get wrinkles nearly as much as we do, and maybe that's because society's made us feel like masturbating was fucking terrible, and they're nutting all the time. So all I'm gonna say is, why not do science experiments to see?
Yeah, and like if it's something you
aren't into, fuck it.
Yeah, but at least try it, and yeah. I mean, and when I was pretty young, a friend brought that conversation up with me. So
masturbating?
Yeah. So I've just I feel like grown up that way.
I actually have a
constant or whatever.
That's nice. Yours was a friend conversation.
Yeah.
Mine was
I was in high school. Okay.
If anybody remembers the Bunny Ranch.
Oh yeah.
So hysterical. I remember because I think it came on after Sex and the City, and I was obsessed with Sex and the City at a very young age. I don't know if it was a young age because I moved into ACO in 7th grade. And how old are you then?
Like 12.
Yeah, so I guess that's normal. Like your hormones are changing. Kids usually do 12 to like 15 is like normal.
13.
Yeah.
13.
I was probably like 12, 13. Yeah, because I don't think 14's high school. I don't think I was in high school yet. It was probably 12, 13. And I used to watch Sex and the City, and it was funny because it would end and then it would go into the Bunny Ranch. And there was, and I never forget watching this one episode where this lady was talking about shaving herself, and then she was talking about masturbating, and I was like, what?
I do like shaving. Sorry, that's a side note.
Shaving? Yeah.
I shave every time I wash my hair. So, I mean, basically every other day.
It's legit.
Because they're kind of furry right now. Because the lady washed my hair when I got it cut. And
I didn't wash my hair, didn't shave my legs.
Yeah, I did shave my fins, but I didn't have enough time to add my legs on there. But I like having my skin smooth.
Oh yeah, I'm weird. I can't lotion if I don't shave, but sometimes I forget to shave and I don't do it, so then I'm just like, I'll go to lotion, and I'm big on sensory things, dude. I'll do the lotion and that, and I'm like, oh, we going dry today, baby, because I ain't touching that shit.
And I love to shave, like, right before a pedicure, because then, like, you don't have any, but then you get all that extra sensory, I feel like, for that reason. I used to pay for upgraded pedicures and had a little more money too, as a self-treat every once in a while. Like I get pedicures once a month, but I would do like the hour-long ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice.
I'm
Definitely
a big DIY.
recommend that.
Big DIY person. Your calves look great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Just don't touch them, they're hairy.
That almost flexed up. You got real nice calves, girl. She's got nice calves.
I have short legs, but they're nicely shaped, I should say. And then, we polled masturbation, and of those of you that responded, we had 78% said yes, they consider self-pleasure as a form of self-care.
Yeah.
And then 22%, that's math, said they do not.
I think that pre or that post orgasm, you know how they say post not clarity? Like, have you ever heard people say, oh, do the post not clarity every time a dude, like guy friends tell each other that, like, oh, every time you think you want to do something, you know, masturbate and then get a little bit more clarity. I don't think that's just a dude thing. So I'm like, you know.
Yeah. And then this is the opposite of that, but it's the same point. There's that episode of Seinfeld where they had the challenge to who could go the longest. Like, they put money in a pot and who could go the longest without masturbating.
Mm-hmm.
Won. And like, they were, going off that same thing.
Right.
George was like, he was super smart. And then like someone else though, Jerry was like, ooh, like, so kind of they played up into that.
The difference, yeah.
Yeah.
The opposite
how
of
it
it.
affected them to not do it.
Right. That's hysterical.
When they were used
One is
to.
like, hey, I'm not being controlled by my penis, I'm paying attention, and the other one's like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
That's great. So, yeah, moral of the story is try it out and see which side of that you're on.
There's lots of options these days.
Mm-hmm.
You can get things mailed in discreet packages. I love when they say that, like in their ads, because those ads will come on like podcasts I listen to and stuff sometimes, and it's like, always shipped in discreet packaging.
Right.
Which is so, I feel like, a sign of the times.
Right. It is a sign of the times. But even like, I don't know, the world's gotten progressive. They've got even trial ones at Walmart in the aisle. They've got those tiny little vibrator things. That are like pocket vibrators.
You try it, you buy it.
Right, outside.
That's
outside
what my ad
stimulation
would
works.
be if I had a vibrator.
Right, you try it, you buy it.
You try it, you're gonna want it, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And like Cori and I were talking about, they have a lot more affordable options these days too. Sometimes they are not cheap if you want to get
No.
fancy.
Yeah.
And, some people, by just the toys, not necessarily self-care, but use toys with their partners to ensure
Big thing.
they're truly enjoying themselves each time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Plus, it's just like, I don't know, when you bring that into it, it forces you, like, because before you do stuff like that, it's easy for you both to be like, yeah, it was great, it was fine, it was good. Everything's good, everything's good. And, like, not actually, you know what I mean? Like, neither one of you truly know each other's bodies, you just, like, take the fun through it, like, yeah, this was great, whatever, and then you sit, you know what I mean? Like,
It's
you said you do
another
it
level of
afterwards.
intimacy.
Exactly. So I like that, like, I've realized that that's, like, okay, this has like almost been the icebreaker for us now to be like, okay, this is what I like, I'm now comfortable saying these things, and then it can spiral past that point, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be that intimate with your partner.
That's a good point. Just like sparking the conversation in general of like,
Yes.
well, what do you want to try or what?
But not every man is very open to this. My ex, so funny. I'll never forget the time when we first got together. He would never even get to the point of ever even being okay with that. Because when we first got together, he ended up finding it, and he was like, you use it? My dick will never vibrate. This is an unrealistic fucking thing. You're like desensitizing yourself, and he went off on this entire thing, and I'm like, yo, calm down. Like, I obviously know you don't have a battery operated penis. Like, chill out. They're two different things. Not only that, but guys have to realize that, like, not every girl gets off internally. Like, it's not a thing. Like, and sometimes you have to learn how you will get off internally.
I think that's
you can train yourself. You can figure out how you like it, where your spot is, whichever. So, like, dudes, if you were saying don't use them in the bedroom, you're really robbing a really great experience for both her and you, because dudes all the time talk about they want that wop. You want to talk about a wop that's just going to be wop, wop, wop.
If you get it from the inside
If you
out.
do it, yeah, like, and it will send people to the moon having you both inside and also outside stimulation is
right,
all
so
I'm gonna
yes,
say.
if you have the inside with it on the outside as well, the sandwich, yes, then hello.
Hello, Jesus Christ. Because I died and went to heaven and came back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And had maybe an epiphany along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely
sure.
some mental clarity after that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything else?
It's
we
good to
should-
experiment, but I also respect if you don't experiment. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to hate on
Absolutely.
anybody.
Yeah.
If that's not your thing, I don't want you uncomfortable for whatever your reason is that you like to do what you do. I'm all cool with it. I just highly suggest it because it's something I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been single a lot.
Yeah, like and that's the other funny thing that goes back to like the differences in societies with women and men. Like, so if a woman's single, I'm supposed to just like what? Sit here, not touch myself, not let anybody else touch it, because then I'll be called a slut. Like, so I was supposed to sit here and just be like, we're just never gonna get sexually pleasured forever until I find a dude who wants to do it or who can do it. Like, that's, come on, dude, that's not fair. Where dudes are allowed to masturbate multiple times a day and it's like normal and it's like, oh, well, you'll get blue balls if you don't. But us, it's like, don't touch that, it's your holy area. And I'm like, well, geez, that seems not really.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
a double
that's not-
standard.
It is a double standard. I'm like, damn, that's not nice. I want to.
I want to feel good.
Yeah, I want to feel good and not actually have to invite somebody in
it's
to have
human.
that sexual or that energy
It's
exchange.
a natural human pleasure we were born with.
Right. Right. And some, you know, some people like to do that.
Clearly, there's a
Someone else.
benefit of it, or
I
our
don't always
body
like to.
wouldn't like have it
Right.
programmed to be capable of that.
Right. And that's the other misconception. Like, I never want to replace somebody that I'm with.
Oh yeah, no.
No, I still crave, you know, intimacy and the touch and stuff like that.
Yes,
I can't. I
that
gotta rub my vibrator on
brings a
my
whole
face.
other level to it. There's an episode of Real Housewives of New York last season where somehow this part was not filmed, or maybe it was, but they were like drunk and like having girls' weekend in like a house, like so like basically an adult sleepover on steroids, and the vibrator ended up in like the chicken, and no one cleaned up the kitchen the next day. So then the host, who had already gone to sleep, like came down to this dirty, ratchet, rude kitchen, and there was like the leftover bowl, like chicken was just out on the counter, and there was a vibrator in it.
Now, was this a whole bird? Or just like
like cooked
pieces of chicken? Okay.
Like
I was
the
like,
leftover
I'm getting a weird visual
plate
here.
that they took like the leftover plate out
Cooked
of
chicken and just threw a vibrator in
because they
it.
were like drunk eating and
That's hysterical. Were they having a sex toy party?
I think they were probably doing girl talk. No, they
Gotcha.
didn't have that. Like I think it was just like late night, you know.
Those are fun.
Yeah, it turned in like girl talk turned into sex talk
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Have you ever gone to a sex toy party?
Mhm. I don't think I technically hosted one, but someone I lived with, yeah, in college, one of my roommates. It was kind of a thing in college and in Cincinnati, the sex parties, because there was like this company that started there. Now I can't remember the name.
I had the same one.
What was the name of it? I know. See, I'm gonna have to Google sex toy company Cincinnati. And so like,
But it was like a Mary Kay kind of thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
or someone came.
Mm-hmm.
You were in your living room. Wine. She demonstrated things on her
Mhm.
hands. Talked about things. Pure romance.
Pure romance, it was pure romance. I was like trying to think so hard. I went into disassociation trying to remember the name of that brand. Pure romance,
I
that's
know.
hysterical. I was like, Candle Fire, remember it.
Staring into it, trying.
Give me the power to remember.
Should I be trying that? Does it work? Tell me, because I'm getting old and I need all the
No, I'm just a
tips.
gnat to the light. Lights for some reason send me straight into disassociation. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Pure romance.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I remember that party. I think we all bought something too.
Oh yeah. And they had fun lubes.
Yeah, and other like, what was like coochie wash or something they had. I bought that, I remember. Stuff like that. Well, thanks for tuning in, ladies.
Yes,
And
again, this is
gentlemen,
the Bunny
I guess. I
Pin.
don't know who's there, yeah, but bunnies.
And I'm Cori. Do it.
And I'm Steph.
Do it, Steph.
Do it.
Do it. And we hope you come back next time. This has been super fun.
Yes.
Let us know what you think, what you want to listen to.
Keep the
if we're
feedback
butchering
and
this.
ideas coming. I've got some things about ideas too that are good, so.
Fun.
Yeah. I need to start a list. Anyways.
Yes. We
Bye,
love you.
bunnies.
Bye, bunnies.